right. It is 7 PM on Monday, March 3rd, and I will call this planning commission meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We will start with the consent agenda, which is the approval of minutes from the Monday, February 3rd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion. I have a second. Does anybody have any questions on that? All right, if not, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, we have 3 items for discussion tonight. The first is going to be discussion and possible action on the PWSB splash zone site plan. I don't know if Chris, do you want to kind of run with it and we'll go from there?
Yeah, I'll kick it off for those who have the background or do not. So the splash pad originally came to fruition almost 2 years ago now. It was started with the village board, President Gerke, when he came on, desiring to implement this asset to our park system. Went through a fundraising phase over the last year and a half where we raised the successful amount of funds that we need to complete a splash pad. We worked with CRS, Commercial Recreation Specialists, originally to determine the best location for this asset. And Marie Kraus was determined to be that place, mainly because it had the space, it had the utilities, and it had the bathrooms, all of which that we needed. And on top of that, the adjacent parking was a huge win as well. Originally, just for those who might not know, originally we planned on putting the splash pad to the north of the parking lot. That would have extended the utility lines all the way up the parking lot, the sidewalk, and even into the hill there. We thought that that was more realistic until we started working with Parkitecture, which is an engineering firm that deals with splash pads specifically. They looked at that site and said, do you really want to put it all the way up there? And their concern was mainly cost, extending utilities all the way up the parking lot to the north end of that park. And 2, building into the hill that faces there would have been certainly a challenge. So toying with different locations, this is the one that we ended up suiting on. So if you can familiarize yourself as you drive down Wenzel, which is currently a gravel road, but will soon be paved, you would end up in the parking lot that is also gravel. You have the bathrooms to the west along the parking lot there, and to the east, you have the start of the disc golf course. So if you can look at our map here, this would be at the southeast end of the parking lot once it's paved. It'd be built into the parking lot there to allow easy cross access for children who are going from the bathrooms and running straight across to the pad itself. This area is relatively flat, which means that we wouldn't have a 2-tiered system built into a hill, which means, again, lots or less fill that we're needing to move around. And it provides utility connection. You can see here with this dotted line here, it would extend here to some sort of cabinet that we place there, and then extend to the south where there's already existing water and sewer. The only point that we really was of discussion was the disc golf course. So for those familiar with that site, number 11 here identifies the, and I'm not a disc golfer, so I'm probably going to say this wrong.
Tee box.
The tee off spot for the long range.
Yeah,
is that right?
so there's 2 different hole or tee box locations at the disc golf course on every hole.
Yeah.
So that they can alternate them. And the one that is currently number 11 is the longer one. And I think you had said that you had discussed with.
Yeah, so we reached out to a couple individuals who actually use our disc golf course, one of which is on staff with us who maintains that course. And the consensus was that really not very many people use this, and the ones that do, we could probably move it a little bit so that way it's not as impacted. So that might mean maybe we creatively add it as part of this, right? Maybe where this paving is here, maybe instead of a tree here, it's a true tee off location. That's a good start to that, right? Otherwise, we can move it outside of this perimeter here, whether it's slightly to the east or slightly to the north there, so that we gets out of the range of the splash pad. So I know our DPW director, Eric Paulus, is here. He could expand on that more. But overall, if that was the only point of contention with the site, we feel like we've alleviated that. And overall, moving it to where it is just a safer and more cost-effective location for us. Before I stop, I believe, Blake, are you on the call here? I saw him jump on.
It's actually Katie, but
Hold
yes, I'm from Parkitecture. Good evening. I'm really just here for any
1
questions.
second, Blake, if you're talking, we don't know if we can hear you. There we go.
Hello. Hi, this is Katie.
Blake, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
There we go. That's not Blake.
Oh, this is not Blake. Sorry about that. My name
That's
is
all
Katie
right.
McDonald with Parkitecture. I'm a
Wonderful.
civil engineer and have been working with Eric and Christoph on the design of the splash pad as well. That was a fantastic recap and introduction. I don't really have anything additional to add to it. Other than we're excited for you guys and your project, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. So this is before us today to approve the site plan. Is that basically what it is? Now-
Yep, so just like you would for any other site plan, even though it's publicly owned, we're still bringing it forward for you.
Do we have any questions of architecture or DPW director or anybody on this?
Just to confirm that the lighter shade, which I assume is like that.
So if I'm not mistaken, this ends up saving like somewheres of $30,000 to $40,000 rather than going up on that hill, right?
Yeah, we're gonna rebid, especially from a utility standpoint. Our original cost to extend the water utility out there, I want to say was like $75,000 or $80,000. So now that once you guys approve this, we'll obviously get a new quote, and our guess is it's be significantly cheaper than what we originally planned.
Are there, I know that we had talked about possibly doing some sort of pavilion. Are there plans to maybe take a look at that and kind of see if there's room somewhere for that?
Yeah, when we looked at the site, that was the other part of making this attractive location to the north, and you can't really see on this map, but to the north, there'd still be plenty of space that we could add, dry play or a pavilion like that. I know President Gerke, you know that we recently went out for a grant for a pavilion to add there. So whether it's through the grant or future funding, we can add,
forgot.
yeah, surprise.
Yeah. Okay.
We can add something like that by moving the splash pad here, we have the room to do that.
Okay.
If I understand this right, this is really not a village project. This was all put together by donors, right?
Yeah, for the most part. So the village set aside from the ARPA funds that we got in 2020 from the federal government. We set aside a portion of money for that, and then everything else was raised by donations from the village and businesses. So this will not, in essence, this will not be any new tax dollars going towards this.
Right.
Which I think is, I'll use this time to reiterate how fantastic I think that is. I mean, the community really kind of showed that they wanted to put something in.
I think it's all right and everything. I just wonder how much it's gonna get used. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I think this is gonna be a neat one. If you look at some of the ones that are in neighboring communities, like Jackson gets used a lot, obviously a lot more people, but, like Belgium's is just kind of a,
I just got one to.
yeah,
Okay,
so we'll see. Excited for it though, nonetheless. Any other questions from anybody?
I know you said Wenzel Avenue is going to be paved. Is there additional lighting, anything like that going into that area as well?
Good question.
Not yet. Not that we have planned, but
Okay.
never know. And especially as, if you're familiar with that street, as you go in, we have the start of residential housing. So I don't know what the future has with those properties, but if additional homes were to go in there, I could see even We Energies wanting us to place some additional lights. So it might make sense at that time than just to extend the street lights all the way to the park area there.
I'm wondering, there's gotta be, so we got that pump house or whatever it's gonna be for the water, right? I mean, that's gonna use electricity, so there would be electric right there.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a light or two right up there. Um,
Yeah.
you know, on the corner or something like that, just so that there is a little bit of light at that park.
Yep.
They might decide to take your pickup truck and drive right across it. Yeah,
Oh,
Probably a light and a camera wouldn't be the worst.
right.
Well, I think there's a stop sign around here. Or is that back on the property?
Yeah, it's way back, but I don't know what the plan is with Wenzel as we do it, if we're gonna add anything or,
Would there
So-
be thoughts on like a speed hump or speed bumps, just because the restrooms are across the parking lot? I see that. Something just for kids.
Yeah, so now that we've moved the pad here, what you'll see in our parking lot plans is in a sense, a crosswalk. You'll see that come all the way across to where the bathrooms are. So it doesn't show in this current site plan. But that's accounting for the pedestrian traffic to go back and forth.
so is this site on the back that we have in our packet? This shows the features and things too that are gonna be there?
Yeah, I
kinda,
believe,
sorta?
believe you have more of the detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't change those. They're already sitting in our DPW garage.
No, I'm not planning. Sure Eric loves that.
He's thrilled.
All right. Well, yeah, I think it looks good.
Make a motion to recommend to the village board to approve.
I'll second it.
So I'll just clarify, a site plan does not need to go before village board. It's just your approval. So
Oh,
if you're
okay.
comfortable with that, then you're good.
Well, it's just,
My make a motion to approve.
I'll still second it.
perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Going once, going twice? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Next we have discussion and possible action on the Gastrowski LLC building. That is in your packet, and we have. Who do we have? Bill Hom, is that correct? All right, sir, you are on for this one. I don't know if there's any questions of him, if you want to introduce it all and go from there.
Jeremy can't be here tonight. We had Friday. We're looking at putting up is 254 by 1. Okay, the length. So it's 16-foot clear on the inside. It looks solar shaped, so if you want to show the solar building it, front is steeper than the back.
Mhm.
Reason being is he wants to be able to have more snow slide out back. And I hate putting snow jacks on roofs because it keeps extra snow on your roof. And when you get snow like we had the last couple of years, it causes. So, there'll be little.
I'm getting there.
There's only one building showing in your package. You have both ready to go to the state. Please do not. Changes we have made, so. That would be the west elevation or the east elevation actually of the west building. In the elevation later on, but the north half of that, your north part of the building, which is over at the worst to the right. Is actually his unit of this building, and then he's gonna. They'll go and plan it for the other units, he's selling them or renting them or whatever he's doing. There's 3 units besides that. And the other building is just a mirror image of this, so this would be a part with a solar face on it, or actually they're not solar, sorry. Two different projects mixed up here. This one is actually a gable. It's got three cupolas on it, 1 foot overhang. It's got masonry up 3 feet on 2 of the walls. And then 3 foot high, black mace or black wainscot on the other wall. The colors that you see on one wall there, the roof is black, the wainscot's black, the rest of the panel are bronze, and our bronze is not as dark as you see in some places. Some places that are really dark bronze, you see on the door, one doors and stuff, ours is lighter than that. And then that masonry is called, mountain stack. Wall stacks is what the color is called. If you are not familiar with what that looks like, there's actually 3 buildings that are up on Park Street and Maritime. For Maritime Storage, it's the same masonry you put on that building. I kept trying to get over to get a picture for you guys to look at, but it's hard when it comes here.
So this is that bronze color though, that's on the swatch
Yeah,
down there?
it's on there. It's
I'll
the
pass it
same
down.
as that's on that panel.
Oh, right. Yep.
See them?
There you go.
The little gable shapes there are actually 12 foot wide by 3 foot sticking off from the building. They're just little overhangs from over top of the walk doors when they're open. There are gutters and also what's on these buildings. They're shown on the plan. He's planning to finish the inside and he's planning to finish the inside and he's going to, heat lamp, so. Each unit will have a bathroom in it. And then he's got 7x2 windows on the west side of this building, and they'll be on the east side of the other building. Look, like I said, they're just mirror images, so he will drive into the parking lot, he will get a better. So. Like I said, there'll be 2 buildings on this site, and then he's planning to do something with the other side that I guess purchased already or.
Yep.
But you want to get these started before you go start working on the other ones, obviously, to make sure he's got some money coming in before he starts. So, all he's got a contract with us is to make sure the site plan is done and it gets buildings. Put up, he's taking care of site work, concrete, landscaping, everything else.
Bill, one of the questions that I had was about refuse. So do you know where on the site plan he plans on putting a dumpster?
On the site plan, he was going to, I don't know if we show a closure, but on the site plan, there should be. Yeah. Site plan at the bottom of this part.
And I'm slowly scrolling there too.
There we go.
There we go.
Go on the bottom. Right down here, it says 3,
Okay,
so whoever struck that drive straight in.
so that, will that be enclosed or how, what would that look like?
Whatever you guys tell him to.
Okay.
He can do. It's fine.
Yep.
I do know he's keeping the landscape to the minimum because normally I would say some trees in the front by the road, but we just got it right away there and plant a tree and probably gonna rip it up, so. He didn't have anything there.
And that driveway faces north, right?
Yeah.
Drive was straight north into. Big and wall.
Yep.
Buildings are. Used to be guys.
Formerly known. Right.
I'll just add quick that our commercial inspector, Roger Keeson, did look at the plans and he didn't have any concerns either.
Correct, yeah. Any questions of anybody for Bill?
You know, just for clarification, I sold that to Jeremy and conversations with one of the reasons he's designing or having set up like this is for ease of plowing, ease of access for any tenants that he might have in parts of the building.
If you're not. Gonna know Jeremy, we'll snap on.
Sure. Just gonna look at one thing. So I guess the only thing that I would be correct me if I'm wrong, so that lot, that then faces the new road, right? So the new road wraps around it, that's kind of the corner lot there?
Well, it's not the corner.
It's not the corner
It's the
lot.
one before the corner.
Before the corner lot, okay, all right, I was gonna say, the windows are a little bit lacking over there, but if yours is gonna be another building, I don't care.
I can go through.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could,
He doesn't want.
yeah,
all of that.
I can never keep those straight, so thank you for that.
I am lost here. What is the purpose of the building? You've got what, 4 different sections? Is there more than that? Trying to rent it out or something?
Yeah, they're basically common units. He's gonna rent them all, that's what the plan was.
Okay.
When he told me that.
All right.
Yeah, there really are. All right. Any other questions? for anyone? No? All right.
So the process from here, just so you guys all know, and I'm sure Mr. Ham can fill you in as well. The full set of plans will go before the state for state approval. And then after that, we'll start the full review of everything for permitting. And that's when we really get in deep with all of our department heads reviewing those plans, think fire chief, DPW. And then once those approvals go through, that's when we do our actual permitting, and then he's able to proceed with his construction. So do you know what his construction timeline is? I'm assuming this summer still?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
Sweet.
frost there.
Yeah.
So June,
It's ready to go to city now.
Great. Great. Sounds good.
awesome. It's exciting.
So it's like the last couple of years, I'm guessing.
Don't say that.
Well, it's really deep, so.
I know it is.
See, well, so.
I got 3 buildings I'm waiting to dig and I can't do any of them. So, I mean, I could, but. What is the pleasure of this body? Anybody want to make a motion one way or another?
I'll make a motion. I'll make it.
I think just because you sold the property, I don't think you have any active influence.
And it's my wish.
Okay, maybe abstain. All right. So we'll have one abstaining possibly here. All right, so we have a motion, is that correct? You made a motion, Percy? Okay. So I have a motion, I have a second then, we will call the vote. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? And anybody abstaining? Oh, you did, okay. Motion carries. Perfect. All right, well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Next we will move on to discussion and possible action on precision floor and decor sign permit application. So we have Brian here tonight, is that correct? Nick, okay, Nick is here tonight, so not Brian. Way to go, permit preparation person, putting the wrong person in there. I don't know if you want to present anything or just say this is what it looks like and. Yeah. Is there gonna be any lighting on it at all, or is it, I know, yeah. Alright.
And I would like just. Do an option.
Yeah, we can black.
The black.
Oh.
He did set it up with white.
Okay.
Maybe he really wanted you to do white, I don't know. So this has nothing to do with the sign, but are you guys getting ready to use the location then and everything, or?
Yeah.
Awesome, cool, looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah. We're excited for it, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point to here. I placed a section of our code in my memo about wall signs. So this is again, I mean, I don't want me to get into sign stuff and sign ordinances because I know it can be controversial here. But this is a sort of gray area in our code because when you read a wall sign, we think of something that's mounted right on the wall. This is in a sense a decal, right, that they're putting on the building. So whether that counts as a sign or not, I don't know. It's before you either way, just to be safe. But assuming we use the same exact guidelines as we would for a wall sign, then yes, it meets within those parameters. And really the only other question, because you now also have the auspices of the previously constructed arc board, is thinking about that signs, right? Do you want it to be lighted? Are you okay with the color? That's the kind of stuff that you guys should just confirm as a body as well.
Anybody have any objections to the color, the way it looks or anything?
Wow.
There you go.
Nice and done. Whether or not it's temperature that matters. But we done how long?
Mhm.
So if we wanted to do like that, sign, we want to do like this down line there, just cast some sort of light on it, is that okay, or do we need to?
A good question.
Yeah, the deal, having been involved in some signs on Highway 57, the DOT's got specific limits on what can be lit, what can't be lit.
Looking at that, before we have the install time.
Yeah, just to not have them stop by and go, hey, you can't. have that fucking thing. Sure.
And blinking is probably bad, strobe lights are no good.
Yep.
So, yeah, right. Yep.
So when you're ready to do that, just check in with us too, and we can look through our ordinances to make sure that you'd be in compliance as far as the village goes as well.
All right.
I see Christopher Jenkins got his name on there, so does it meet the right criteria?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
You got your name on the bottom there, so everything okay on it?
Looks good to me.
I'll make-
Thank you, sir.
All right. I have a motion, I have a second. Are there any other questions before we take a vote? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Excellent. Good work. All right. Are there any items for future consideration?
How's the subdivision come there?
Oh, lovely. I was told 2.5, 3 months ago that we should have a site plan for the condos next month. So things are proceeding just as they normally do. So, yeah, you're welcome. Let's see, planning commission next month will be, I believe, on the 7th. Does that sound right? And the date for that?
It should be, yes, April 7th.
Okay, Monday, April 7th.
Yeah, which I'll note, just in case we don't have any material, we probably will. I know a number of you have shared that you would no longer like to be or stay on the plan commission for various reasons. So I, at least from the village, just want to thank you for your time and service here. Hopefully we have one more meeting to say our goodbyes and thank yous, but we're going to have a lot and huge spots to fill on this plan commission come 2 months from now. So good luck.
And that's the guy that's
Good
gonna
luck,
help do
that guy.
it, so. Yeah, that, if you guys don't, I'm sure everybody knows that I am not running for reelection, so I will not be on the board anymore either, so. I can't say for certain, but I would think that Pete would be heading up the planning commission, and if that's the case, you get to deal with him.
Is anybody running for president? That's right.
As a write-in?
Well, he's not a write-in, he's actually running. Yeah, he's running, so, Yeah.
Oh,
so how about that? Why, should I run a write-in campaign and run against him and see what happens? I wouldn't do that to you, Pete. It would be, yeah. No, thanks. Yeah. Me too. I just say vote for Pete.
It's not,
Way to go.
well, I'm gonna be building it at home and it's. Has to be in the village of Fredonia, so I would be appropriate for me to be on. But how does the village board go about? Getting people to attend?
Yeah, well, we're always looking for new people.
Be shared.
Yeah, please do. We set up an application now on our village website. It's on our social media too, that if you know anybody who lives in the village, not just plan commission, but any of the committees that we have, please have them apply. That'll make this guy's job a lot easier. And we actually have gotten a couple applicants already since we started pushing that out, but keep sharing it. The more the merrier. We want to see people in this community involved for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Only for president, have you got as many ads as you got?
Thank you.
all right. Yeah, so thank you guys all. I appreciate you serving with us and everything. And this is a very, very important body, especially going forward. Like Chris was saying, we've got a lot of stuff happening in the next 6 to 8 months. So I know that a lot of these meetings have been kind of 5 minutes here, 4 minutes there. Do we really have to be here? But things will get more exciting, I promise. Yep. All right. If there's nothing else, we are in order to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn. I second.
Right. A motion a second. All those in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion carries. We're out of here at 7:32. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.